My name is Chantel Smith. I'm the coordinator for recruitment and programming here in the Honors College at the University of Maryland. And tonight we'll be presenting a general overview of our Honors Humanities program, which will be led by the Associate Director of Honors Humanities, Dr. Sarah Humad, with some of our current students within that program. Just a couple of notes. If you're new to our information sessions, there will be honors admission staff along with the current students available to answer any of your questions that you have. So feel free to start asking questions in the chat area, and we'll do our best to get to each and every one of them. We will be recording today's session, so if you want to go back to review this video, you'll be able to do so within the coming days once we get it posted to our website. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and pass the mic over so you can hear more about Honors Humanities.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Sarah Mood, and I'm so excited to have you here today. We have some amazing ho-hummers joining us as well. Maya, Ify, Carolyn, and Lola are all here to answer your questions, and we're just so excited. So I'm going to provide just a little background information really quickly about our program. I have a tiny short presentation that I'll go through pretty quickly because I know that you can read a lot of this information on our website actually. So the Q&A will be more informative today. Our mission is to provide our students with an opportunity for close engagement with literature, art, issues, and ideas that across time and space have helped us think about what it means to be human. We have a diversity of students from every possible major. So whether you're majoring in arts and humanities fields, or you're majoring in the hard sciences or social sciences, you are welcome here. We are one of the most diverse programs on campus. We like to think of ourselves as giving our students a small liberal arts feel at a large university, so that you have a close-knit community, exciting, interesting, discussion-based classes, and then all the resources of a large research university. We also always explore DC as part of our classes, and we are bringing back our trip to New York City, which was a tradition before COVID, and so that will be exciting as well. In the future, we hope to bring in a study abroad as well. What we do, we are interested in developing the skills that you will use in your career. We are all about fostering your self-formation, exploring who you are, your identity, your culture. You create a personal project in year 2. It's called the Honors Keystone Project. You design it. It's your own passion project, and you can ask our honors ambassadors all about their projects because they were pretty fabulous. We live in Anne Arundel Hall. That's our main home base. That's where the staff offices are. That's where our main classroom is. And that's where most of our freshmen live. Right next door is Queen Anne's Hall. That's where some freshmen live, some sophomores live, and then some juniors and seniors in the writer's house. Here we go. Year 1, you take a course in the fall and a course in the spring. I teach the spring course. It's called Arts and Humanities in Practice, and we invite our students to partner up with the Do-Good Institute on campus to create a project that does some good, and also to create projects that are interesting and exciting to you while we explore sort of big ideas like environmental justice, racism, sexism, sort of these big topics that affect our world. In year 2, you take really nice, small arts and humanities seminars. Those change every year, but you can check out a few examples on our website and the syllabi that they have. And then you create your Keystone project. You also have a final choice of a 3-credit arts and humanities intern, a 3-credit upper level arts and humanities course, or a 3-credit study abroad experience. And we really encourage our students to study abroad whenever possible because it's such an incredible experience. We're all over social media, and you can email us as well. So that is the end of the presentation. So I just want to invite everyone to join Q&A now. Actually, could we have all of our honors ambassadors? Could you all introduce yourselves first?
I can go first. Can everyone hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So hi, my name is Ify. I'm a current senior. I'm a public health science major, and I guess graduated from Honors Humanities in 2021. So I'm excited to be here and answer your questions.
I can go. My name is Maya. I'm currently a sophomore in the program, so I'm working on my Keystone project, and I'm a bioengineering major.
I can introduce myself while Carolyn is getting settled, but hi everyone, I'm Lola. I also kind of graduated from the program in 2020. I'm here in kind of an honors college staff capacity, so I might not have my camera on, but I will most definitely be in the chat answering questions. And I am a senior finance and information systems double major.
Hi everyone, my name's Carolyn. I'm a junior public health science major, and I also graduated from the program last spring. So I guess spring of 2020.
Looks like we have a question in the chat about your Keystone projects, which I'm so excited about. So yeah, jump in and share your fabulous projects.
I can go. So I actually am really interested in cooking and baking, and then also my family history and kind of cultures and exploring new foods. So my Keystone was kind of a historical cookbook, I guess, where I interviewed people in my life and asked them about their relationship with food and recipe that they really loved or meant something to them. And then I cooked it and took lots of photos, and it was just like a really great experience of combining my interest in food with really connecting with the people in my life.
I can share mine too really quickly. So for my Keystone, I basically made a children's book, a language learning book to teach children how to speak Igbo, which is my native language. And I just did it because I'm really into art, and I also wanted to deepen my connection with my family history and everything. And I thought that would be a perfect project for me to really achieve those goals in this class.
I can go. So I'm currently in the program, currently working on my Keystone project. So right now I have my general idea. We just submitted proposals yesterday actually. But so right now I'm thinking of doing a documentary film about the happiness of college students, especially after COVID-19. So basically it's meant to be kind of like a self-help resource once I'm done. Yeah.
What would be the best? Should I read some of the questions in the chat and then open it up to you all to answer? Does that sound good? That way, sort of a clear jumping point. Okay, sounds good.
Sounds great, Sarah.
So what's that?
I said that sounds great.
Okay, sounds good. What was your favorite part or aspect of the program academically?
I can go. So this might also kind of answer some of the other questions that I saw in the chat. So I'm a STEM major. So I really enjoyed the fact that I was able to take humanities classes and they were kind of built into the curriculum. in like a more enriching sense outside of like my normal like science and math classes that I had to take. It helped me like to be able to connect more of like the hard sciences things I was learning to more of like the actual like human aspect and like social aspect of like being able to like do jobs and like connect with people. So that's one aspect of the program I really liked, was being able to have the opportunity to make sure it was like built into my schedule. So like I had to have the opportunity to take them, which was really nice.
I think my favorite was the seminar classes that you take your sophomore fall semester, because it's a smaller class. I know like freshman year there are like some larger lecture classes, not necessarily in a ho-hum, but just in general. So having the opportunity, like just starting sophomore year, of like really getting to know your cohort even more deeply was really fun. And I took a seminar about young adult literature, which was super interesting and nostalgic and just really wonderful to kind of take a look at these books that I'd read when I was younger again. And it was just so much fun. It was like I learned so much, but it was also just a book club. So that was probably my favorite.
How about you, Ify? Do you have a thought on that one, or should we move on to our next question?
I could just add on to, so like Carolyn, I really like the seminars and also the Keystone class in general, because I feel like Honors Humanities really gives you a lot of free reign of what you want to do. Like you get a lot of control in just like designing projects for yourself. You get to choose what you want. You're not bound always by like a strict set of rules. You really get to be creative. And I felt like that was just a great breather from all of my other courses and everything, because I take science heavy classes. So it was a really refreshing change for me.
And then Lola, you'd mentioned that you're going to be answering in the chat. Is that right?
Yep, but I can also answer in
Okay.
person too. For me as well, I would say the Keystone class was really great. It was actually an interesting experience because when Ify and I took the Keystone class, that was when we had to go into quarantine. So kind of seeing how that transition was still really great. And I think because we were set up so well in the beginning on how to really plan out our projects and do them well, despite anything that happened, we were able to kind of successfully do our projects and still get a lot of the support that we needed. So that was just a really great experience. And I didn't say my Keystone too really quickly. I did a podcast series on creative passion projects of college students, just because I personally have a lot of creative side projects I like to do. So I wanted to encourage other people to do a lot of creative projects. So that was my Keystone. And even when we moved online, I was still able to do a lot of that really well with the support from the Keystone class. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we're having our first in-person symposium. It's our big event that goes with the Keystone course, where every student presents their project, work that they've put in. And we're having our first in-person one in years because of COVID, and we're so excited. Our whole community is invited back. You're invited to bring your families, your friends from outside the program, and it's just a really good, beautiful day. So we have another question about how manageable is the course load of your major in the Honors College with their curriculum. And I saw that our gen requirements, so they're designed not to add to your major course load, but to cover those sort of background requirements that are required of a student. But I can also open it up to our honors ambassadors about of figuring out their schedules.
Yeah, so I think like a lot of people, I'm also kind of a STEM major in public health. And so I just found that like I was doing all these lab classes. This was just such a different thing that it felt like like just different work and not overwhelming at all. Also just want to speak to the idea that a lot of people are STEM majors. So you can find like study groups. I know when I was taking it freshman year, a whole group of us were taking chem lab. And so after every class, we'd get together and do chem lab. So although it's like certainly a different field, so helps create connections where that actually.
I think also too, something that's pretty unique to Honors Humanities is that a lot of the projects and things we do are very flexible, and that you can kind of make it fit like what you want to do. The instructors a lot of times will give you a lot of freedom to kind of just create what you want to create and like make your like put your best foot forward kind of. So I think when you're doing work that like you actually care about and like it's not just something you're trying to finish for a class, I think that makes it a lot more enjoyable. And so like course load wise, I wouldn't say that it's like very heavy course load, because you're doing a lot of things that you enjoy and like you get to put a lot of like your own spin on, I guess.
Evie and Lola, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think what Carolyn and Maya said were like, I agree 100%. I guess just to add on, in general, I would say ho-hum classes, like they're laid out pretty well. Like, you know what's coming when. It's easy to start ahead of time for things. If you find that your other courses that you're taking are a lot harder, like it's easy to start ahead and seek support from your GAs and anyone else, and even your classmates too, if you just want to get ahead on bigger projects and everything going on. But like the coursework, there aren't really many surprises thrown at you in most of the classes that I've taken, at least. So I found it pretty manageable to balance with everything I did.
Speaking of things being manageable, there's a question about the hardest part of the program. So was there a hardest part for any of you?
I can go. For me, the hardest part, like I said earlier, like one of my favorite parts was how much control I got over what I wanted to do, but that was also really hard for me, because just trying to narrow down from like a whole like wide range of ideas you have for like a Keystone project, it can take a while to just really decide on what you want to do that's most feasible. But I feel like once you really sit down and focus, like it doesn't, like once you have a Keystone idea, from there, your project is just pretty manageable from there on out. But for me personally, just coming up with that idea for like a free range project was kind of hard.
I would say probably the hardest part. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like hard, like in a way that you're like studying really hard for a test, more hard in like challenging you mentally, I guess. Like a lot of things that you do will like take you out of your comfort zone or like open your eyes to things that you might not have known before. And I think that can be challenging sometimes, especially if you've never been in like that kind of like setting before. But I think it's also like that's the hardest part, but I think it's also the most rewarding part, because you're able to do things that you've never really got the chance to do before.
We have another question about how classes blend with your major. Is it difficult to double major while being in the Honors College?
As a double major, I can kind of answer that. For the business school in particular, double majoring is a little easier because a lot of the lower level core classes are pretty similar. But if you come in with like a lot of credits, for example, or you just work with an advisor really well to plan out your classes, it's very easy to double major. Just like what Sarah mentioned earlier, a lot of the classes are tailored to your gen eds. So ultimately, all of them will help you move forward in your degree program, and just be able to fill those gen eds so that you have a lot more room in your schedule to take those classes that you need for your double major requirement. And these courses are only one per semester for the first 2 years of complete citation. So you should be able to just plan.
Thank you. So we've touched on this, but I'll see if there's anything to add. What is the honors humanities experience like for someone who's a STEM major, for you or for your friends?
All in, sorry, in like all, I still have the same lab classes with them. So I still am able to study with them, and it's kind of like a smaller group within these larger lecture classes that I just immediately know that I have, and we'll be like planning out our schedule to ensure that we're in the same lab section. So there's absolutely that opportunity to study. And then I think just more broadly, I find myself being able to have like broader discussions with my friends in ho-hum, whereas like a lot of the STEM majors, like I'm sure it's great, but just because of the way our classes are structured, you know, we're always talking about what's going on in the world, and we have this common interest in the humanities that can play into other, like the STEM major really well, and really make you think about, you know, how these subjects impact different communities and about equity and all these kinds of things. So I hope that makes sense, but it's absolutely has been nothing but a benefit to my STEM major for sure.
Kind of going off. Oh, go ahead.
Just to add on, I would say that another benefit of honors humanities for a STEM major could be like your ability to write and also do oral presentations. I found that those skills are really driven upon like throughout your honors humanities classes, and it really applies to whatever you do in STEM, because if you go into research, you're likely going to have to present and also write like detailed explanations of what you did. I just find that taking humanities classes really helps you build upon those skills, so it makes you better. It really translates well into the STEM fields.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely like been super helpful. I know, especially for my major, kind of like going off of what Carolyn said, like you get to meet a lot of different people. I think someone said in the chat too, it's such a wide variety of majors that you get to meet so many people that you might not have gotten to meet just sticking to like your major, because sometimes even though it's a ginormous school, you can end up with just a bunch of the same people in all your classes. So it's kind of nice that you get to like meet a bunch of different people with different majors and things like that. I know with engineering, the curriculum is a little bit more strict when it comes to like adding things onto it, but honors humanities and like most of the programs in the honors college are like work very well with like most majors. So I know like a lot of times like certain majors can be very strict, but the honors college like works very well to make sure that you're able to like pursue all the things you want to be able to. And you can also take like your honors level courses like in your STEM majors that can also help you get like smaller class sizes, which I think is really nice. That's like a really good benefit that I've had so far, even outside of just like honors humanities itself.
We have another question. Why did you apply to honors humanities, or even what made you end up choosing honors humanities?
I actually had a humanities program in my high school where we took all our English and social studies classes like as a 2-hour block every day. And I just found it so interesting, and I kind of wanted to continue with that. And I also knew that I was going to, I was pre-med at the time. And so I just knew that I was going to take all these science heavy courses, but I still was just so interested in history and art And I just think that college is such an opportunity to explore those things and really take time to study things that you might never have the chance to do it again. So I really want to set aside time so I don't lose track of those interests.
Yeah, it was the same for me as well. Like actually when I was planning to come to UMD, I was considering ILS, the Integrated Life Sciences, just because I thought that it would be best to choose a honors college that has to do with STEM because I'm a STEM major. But upon thinking about it for a while, like I realized that I really wanted a chance to do art because I've drawn like for a long time throughout my life, and I didn't want to lose that in college and like lose that habit. So I wanted to um, because I knew I would get a chance to do something like that in honors humanities. So I chose that to just get designated time for myself to really be creative and just like think outside of the box from my usual classes.
What would you say is the most important quality of an honors humanities student?
Um, that's a good question. I would say to just be open-minded because humanities is a very broad field. You're going to meet people with many different ideas that might not be the same as yours. So it's really important to just have a lot of tolerance and accept people and like listen to what they have to say rather than like shooting back. Just like be open to new ideas and ways that things can be done differently.
I definitely agree. I think open was the first word that came to my mind. So totally agree. Just also being open to new friendships and that kind of thing. I think that it's just a good quality to have in general, but I think especially effective in the honors humanities program.
We have a question here about our program traditions. So the question says, do we have anything similar to Gemstone's Gems Camp or University Honors' House Cup? And we do have our Ho-Hum Retreat. That's brand new this year. So we're honors ambassadors, unfortunately. Never got a chance to go, but it's a retreat at the beginning of the school year so that freshmen can all meet each other and bond as a cohort. So it's a lot of fun. It's a weekend away and it's great. But other ho-hum traditions, what were your favorites?
Okay. The one I remember, I think it was called Culture Day, if I'm right, in DC. Basically, it was a day we had like there were different activities we could do in DC, like visiting museums and like just different like kinds of arts events. And I remember when I went, we ended the day by going to this really nice restaurant. It was called the Ottoman Taverna. Yeah, it was such a nice place and a really nice atmosphere to just bond with everyone, enjoy some really good food, and just rest after a long but fun day. So that was definitely my favorite tradition.
I think there were a lot of things in DC, definitely that were super fun. But I think we have this thing called weekly programming, where like once a week we just get together and it's not academic at all and it's not required, but you just go and normally the honors, I guess, student committee, I forget what it's called. They put on like these really, really fun things. Like I remember we'd play Just Dance or do karaoke or just play board games. And like the days in DC were fun too, but the smaller moments where you really get to develop friendships, I think were so much fun and definitely what I remember.
I have a little bit of a different experience than I feel like a lot of people like in honors and masters because I was online for so long, so I didn't really like get like the traditions, which was a little bit hard because like we were like, oh, like how are we all gonna like connect and everything? But we got back to campus and it was so nice because I don't know if this is just an honors humanities thing. I think it's like a lot of things in the honors college do it, but like the ice cream socials those are so fun. I love everything about the ice cream socials. First of all, you get ice cream, but also you just get to like the conversations people have like while getting ice cream are just the best conversations. Like it's never just like, hi, how's your day going? It's like, let's talk about haikus. Like it's always just like amazing conversation that happens like in and around Anne Arundel. So not necessarily like a specific tradition, but I don't know, just like getting to hang around like the community, I think is pretty cool, especially since like my first year was kind of a wash. Anyways,
Lola, how about you? Do you have any favorite traditions?
Actually, Chantel just mentioned it in the chat, but honestly, anything we do in the basement was always my favorite traditions. In Anne Arundel, we have a nice like projector, and there we have a kitchen and everything down there. So a lot of the times, I remember my freshman year for Halloween, in 105, the first course, we were reading Frankenstein. So we all went to the basement on Halloween, and we had like a bunch of candy, and we were watching the movie Frankenstein and kind of relating it to the book. So it's just really cool how like, I feel like that's kind of a tradition of like, we all just randomly find a occasion to go to the basement, like hang out and do things like that. And now that things are kind of opening up a little more, it's a little safer now, which is really cool. So yeah.
Yeah, some of our other traditions are the every year the students go to a pumpkin patch together. That's a student council run event. We have our DC Culture Day. Humanities is a day where we do service. We have what are some of the others? Our New York trip's coming back, and Symposium is our annual event too. How does Honors Humanities compare to bigger honors programs like university honors?
I can kind of speak on that from what I've heard from some university honor students. I know that because they're so much bigger, sometimes space can be an issue in getting into some honor seminars. But for like strictly honors humanities seminars, usually people get into the class that they want to take. So I think that could be a benefit of our program.
yeah, I agree. I think just all around, I mean, based off like experience, like I'm not in university honors, but like I think we're a little bit more tight knit than a lot of the university honors because the classes are a little bit bigger. Everybody has their groups though. So like I think that like honors humanities is probably just like a little bit smaller, if that kind of makes sense. It's more of like a like discussion based, for the university honors is like a little bit bigger of seminar, depending on like which style I guess you benefit from the most.
Yeah, it might be hard for our students to compare since we've only had our experience in honors humanities. But hopefully that answers your question a bit. What is the community like? We have a question about that.
Yeah, I think it's just so warm is the word that first came to my mind. Like everyone is always willing to talk to each other, even if you know, it's always like people are hanging out after class or going to the dining hall after class together. I know personally, I lived in Queen Anne's instead of Anne Arundel, but there was like a whole floor of us, and my roommate and I were both in Ho-Hum. The doors were always open, and we were just kind of got to know each other in the lounges, and like I said, like to this day, like my 5 best friends are still people I met in Ho-Hum. So just really an opportunity to create like long-lasting friendships. Yeah, so I hope that answers. I'm happy to answer more specific questions, but that's just kind of the feeling I get.
Also, because the buildings that we live in are relatively smaller, you and you live and learn with the people that are there. You kind of get to know everyone on your floor just from like running into them in the hallway and in the lounge and things like that. So it's really easy to just like say hi and develop friendships through that way. And yeah, I just remember like the people on my floor, because I used to live on the 4th floor of Anne Arundel. It was the smallest one. Like everyone on my floor knew each other. We would go to each other's rooms and just like hang out and then see each other in class like pretty soon after. It was just a nice close-knit experience for me. And yeah, I'm really grateful for it actually.
We have a question. What's a piece of advice you wish someone had told you going into your first year in Honors Humanities?
I definitely have a strong answer for this one. It's not really so much ho-hum as much as just college in general. I think like the first 2 weeks might be a little bit hard and awkward. And then just like know that it's like that for everyone, and that like sometimes you look around and you feel like everyone already has so many friends, but that's not true. Everyone's feeling that way. Like I've talked to so many people about this and they all have had this experience. So like, you know, so when you get to college, just try to be open to everything, say yes to everything, or as much as you can, and just really be okay with being uncomfortable for just a few weeks, because it gets better and it becomes so much fun very quickly. But you just kind of have to get through that part. Like I remember being so overwhelmed at first, but that's so normal, and it gets so much better.
I completely agree. I was going to say something along similar lines of like just being open. Like I know, like for me personally, because I'm also like not a humanities major, I was like a little skeptical at first at like how much I was actually going to get out of the program and like if it was actually going to like benefit me in any way. But I'm like so glad that I like stuck with it and like kept an open mind like going in, because it was like it's such a more rewarding experience to be able to like enjoy something that you actually like care about doing. And I think also like a lot of things you're going to do when you get there are kind of like what I've said before, are different than what you've done before. And if you don't keep an open mind, it's going to be really hard to like try new things and kind of like grow as a person. So I think, yeah, just being open as soon as you get there is definitely key.
Hi, everyone. I am going to hop off. My son has an issue that I need to go deal with. Could I delegate the reading of the questions to you, Evie? Would you mind?
Sure.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm so happy I got a chance to, answer questions. You can email me anytime, hhum@umd.edu. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Dr. Moody. Okay. Just find a- Okay. So one of the questions asks, if you're working on your project, your Keystone project, and find out that you don't like it, how easy is it to switch projects?
I can talk about that since I'm doing it right now. It's very easy. So basically, at the end of the fall of your sophomore year, you do like a project that they get you to like start thinking about what you want to do. So you kind of have winter break to start like thinking of ideas and kind of start trying to get like they also invite you to symposium of the year before, so you can kind of like look at that for ideas as well. But then if you start the project and you're like, oh my gosh, I hate this, like why did I do this to myself? Then like when March comes around, there's another deadline where if you want to completely change your project, you can completely change your project. I think after March, it gets a little bit more tricky to do those giant changes, but there's definitely enough time for you to want to change your mind. And also with the Keystone project, I feel like the guidelines are pretty free. Like there's so many different things you can do with it that like initially choosing things that you're interested in is never a bad idea. Like choosing something that you know you're not going to get bored with like over the next 15 weeks like is always a good idea. And I think that also helps with kind of like the kind of like, oh, I started this, I don't really want to do it anymore. I think that if you're choosing something that you're already interested in, it kind of helps with that too. But yes, you can change your topic idea.
Yeah, and I think so much of the class is about process over product. So they really emphasize like enjoying doing it and are open to like your process of going from one thing to another and like even making that part of your project. So yeah, really easy and a lot of supports and a lot of opportunity like built in one-on-one times with your instructor to really talk through your project and make sure you're set on it. And like you said, it's not like something that's sprung on us. You have like 2 years of doing other humanities projects and reading about things and discussing topics to kind of get a lot of ideas.
Thank you for those answers. Okay, I'm gonna skip the questions that were already answered in the chat. So the next question is, does Honors Humanities help students find internships for their 3rd year? If so, how? And I can just add one thing. There is a newsletter in Honors Humanities that gets sent out through email pretty often, and that does contain some potential internship opportunities if you choose to apply for those. But I'll let you guys take it from here.
Yeah, I think they're like it's a little different because there are like internships within HOHUM. If you're interested in like humanities, I'm not sure the specifics, but it looks like a communications internship. So they're internships like in the program itself. But as far as finding internships, I think I have definitely heard about internships through former students, and just they're like the honors college sends out a newsletter, like if he was talking about, and so I've actually absolutely gone through those, and I think even just having it on your resume as like it makes you look more more well-rounded, I guess. And I've absolutely talked about HOHUM in like interviews for internships before. So I would say yes, definitely. And like through direct ways, but also indirect ways.
Maya, would you like to add anything or?
Yeah, sorry, I was answering something in the chat. So I'm a sophomore, so I haven't really had the opportunity to like be able to like do the 3rd year like anything really yet. But it's also kind of flexible in the fact that like you have the option of doing like a humanities related internship or taking an upper level humanities course or studying abroad. So there's a lot of different things that you can do like after sophomore year and on. I just personally haven't had that experience yet, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, sorry, I guess I misunderstood the question. I think like just internships in general, but for credit, yeah, I think I wouldn't worry too much if you are interested in a humanities specific internship for the credit. I think absolutely you can talk to the advisors and the professors, and they have so many connections and are so wonderful, and we bring in a lot of guest speakers and that kind of thing. So that's absolutely an opportunity. And I actually studied abroad to fulfill my credit, so I can talk about that as well if anyone's interested. But there are many ways. You like sometimes I know a few of my friends like fulfilled that 3rd choice option without even knowing it because they were just taking an upper level class anyways, and it just kind of happened that way. So definitely don't stress about that.
Okay, so the next question asks, what kinds of things do you usually do when you go to DC for class trips? I can add one thing. So I remember when I was a freshman, the very first trip that I went on to DC was Honors Humanities. We did a scavenger hunt, basically like around the National Mall, that area with the Washington Monument. So basically just to find different things in like museums and things like that and take pictures of ourselves with our group members there. And it was a really great way to meet some people, especially because it was like the first weekend before classes officially started. So yeah, that was a really fun way to get to know each other.
Yeah, there were also a few times where they scheduled like lectures to take us around museums, which was so interesting because it was just this expert in their field, like giving us a private tour of the museum, which was so cool. And I learned so much. Like a lot of museums, I think we went to the Portrait Gallery, if I remember correctly, and one other that I'm forgetting, but that was like hard class. So that was cool. And then not really Ho-Hum designated, but I know a lot of people in Ho-Hum like organized in our group chat to like go to protests. I remember like before the pandemic, we went to an environmental, like the climate march. And then I know I saw on Instagram, a lot of people went this year as well. So that's certainly something we did a lot of activism. And then there'll often be people being like, oh, we're going to DC. Does anyone want to join? So just to like go to cool restaurants and that kind of thing.
Maya, would you like to add or?
I've actually never been on a trip to DC with honors humanities, so I can't really speak on that. But I did go to the pumpkin patch thing, and that was super fun. We went to a farm and we picked pumpkins, and we got to see little farm animals. And it was a good time. So, but haven't been to DC with honors humanities. Hopefully soon.
Okay, thank you. And I guess Carolyn could answer this one. So for the study abroad, are there specific ones that link to the Honors College?
So I think there actually are honors specific study abroad. I didn't do one of those. I went to Italy with an ancient cultures class over a winter break. And I think the only requirement for studying abroad is you just have to do like a journal entry every day. So you can really apply any study abroad to that. I think, like, I know it's kind of overwhelming to think about a whole semester abroad, but a lot of people want to do it. But if that's not really an option for you, I so recommend winter or summer terms. They're so much fun. They're really interesting. And normally you do like one class. Like in my case, it was technically a class, but it was just doing all the tours and things with an archaeologist who just knew what she was talking about and could just point at something random in the city and give you a whole history about it. So it was so interesting. I really recommend that one. I think it still goes on. So that one's really, really fun. But I know one of my other friends who's in honors humanities went to like Spain, I think, as his requirement. So there are a lot of options. And it's super easy to study abroad at UMD. There's so many resources. We have a whole study abroad office. They really try to make it accessible. There's scholarships and that kind of thing. So highly recommend. It's just like a pretty short application. And yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Carolyn. Okay. So the next question is, does the vibe of honors humanities differ from other honors programs? I guess maybe we could answer that in terms of like, well, I'm not sure. Do you guys have any like significant experience with other honors programs?
So I have, since I'm in engineering, I have a lot of friends that are in ACEs, and some of the other like in ILS, some of like the other like STEM heavy, not like STEM heavy, but like more STEM related honors programs. I would say that the honors humanities vibe is definitely a lot. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a great question. I think all the different honors colleges have their own vibe. Like the classes you're taking will kind of like determine that the classes you take with like your little cohort. I think a lot of programs in the honors college have like, that's kind of what the purpose of the honors college is, to be able to like group like people who are super interested in academics, to be able to like have meaningful discussion and be able to hang out, get to know each other, and just do some really cool things. But I would say honors humanities is a pretty chill vibe. I think that answers the question. Does everybody agree? I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think chill vibe is a good way to think of it. I think Yeah, I think it's hard for us to answer because we haven't been, but I have friends in other honors programs, and it seems more like, I guess, like a, how do I put it? Like, I know Gemstone is really research focused, so a lot of the connections are about doing their research projects, whereas HoHum is definitely like a really diverse major, so it's more about like discussion and connection, I guess. But I think you know, you'll have a wonderful experience whatever you choose, and it'll all turn out, and you'll find people that you really enjoy no matter what program you decide.
All right, so I'm going to move on to the next question. So this is asking, are you given the freedom to make your own project, your own Keystone project on any of your interests within your major, or does it have to relate to the content being taught in Honors Humanities?
I think that that you can pretty much do anything if you're able to connect it to about like the human experience. So I think it's often a really great opportunity to like do something related in arts and humanities that you might not have the opportunity to do in other places. But I think there are also a lot of like non-traditional projects that don't like at first glance seem very honors humanities related, but they do a really wonderful job connecting the two. But I think maybe if you're asking about like, can't be like a STEM research lab type project, it's definitely more geared towards humanities, if that makes sense. But I think it's not limiting at all. Like really any interest is welcomed.
Okay, just because of time, we're gonna go to one more question, which is just, what are the advantages of being in Honors Humanities? I could go first. So I think a lot of it has been said in different ways, but just getting an opportunity to be creative and just think outside of what's typical of your major and just explore your passions that you might not otherwise get time to. Like if you're good at art or dancing or anything really, like you get a chance to do that in Honors Humanities. And yeah, just developing those passions is a really great benefit.
I think one benefit is the housing. You guys, Anne Arundel and Queen Anne is where it's at. It's so great. It's truly the best. Like I can't emphasize enough how nice it is on South Campus. That's one of the huge benefits. I know a lot of people like come back for a second year to live in Queen Anne's because they like it so much. So definitely recommend the housing. And then just the people are really, really wonderful and so diverse and so willing to talk to you and have discussions at any moment. And yeah, just like learning, so much introspection is able to happen. So I definitely learned a lot about myself and about other people. So yeah, I loved my experience in Honors Humanities, and I hope you guys join us. That'd be so wonderful, and good luck with everything.
I would say another big part on top of everything that everybody's already said, like housing, definitely 10 out of 10. But I know I said something about that in the chat too, but I also think that the professors that teach in Honors Humanities are just amazing. Like they are such great people. Like they are so willing to help you with anything, like whether it's writing recommendations or you just need to like walk into their office just to talk. Like I know you heard from Dr. Mood, like she's amazing. Dr. Ontiveros, he's really great too. And even the teachers that teach the seminar that aren't necessarily like Honors Humanities directors are also like purposely picked for the Honors Humanities seminars. Like, so like they already know their course is going to be engaging. And I would say like the staff is like a really big reason that Honors Humanities is such a big benefit, because they work so hard to make sure that like you're enjoying your time there and like you're actually getting something from the experience. So I would say like being able to have them there as a resource is like a huge advantage of Honors Humanities specifically.
All right, thank you.